In the words of Ferris Bueller, sometimes life comes at you fast. I woke up this morning with an email from JetBlue saying that my flight home had been canceled and that I have been rebooked for a flight home from Gatwick, the same flight, for tomorrow, January 31st. So that was all done by JetBlue. Thanks to them for getting on it before I was even awake. But that complicates things quite a bit. However, I've taken care of all of the logistics. I've emailed work, told them I'm going to be out tomorrow. I rescheduled my COVID test that I had for this morning at 7:30 for tomorrow morning. And I booked an extra night in this hotel. And same room type, I'm able to keep the same room. So now that all that is done, what to do today? I literally had nothing planned at all, except going home. But now I have a completely free day with no plans whatsoever and a first-class rail pass to get me anywhere in the UK in first class at no additional cost to myself. I have lots of options. So, the plan now is National Railway Museum. I'm on the 0950 Grand Central service that's bound for Sunderland. I'm going to be taking it to York. That checks off first time on Grand Central, first time on a 180. And I haven't been to the National Railway Museum proper since 1998, so I'm pretty sure a lot has changed. But for now, it's like hour and a half up to York, and my reservation for the museum is at noon. So, let's go. When I wake up, arrived at York on Grand Central. That train has left off to Sunderland. We're heading to the Railway Museum for a little bit. Don't know how long I'm going to stay there, and however long I stay there is probably going to determine what I do next. So when I'm done there, I'm done there. But it all depends on what the next train to Scarborough is. If the next train to Scarborough is a Nova 3, probably taking it. If it's a 185, I'm probably not. Well, I might, and then take the Nova 3 back in. So we'll figure it out as I go along. Fancy seeing the blue Pullman here, after having seen it twice in the past week. Well, this is just a single coach, and probably not part of the actual blue Pullman consist. It's funny seeing it here. We're in the station hall. There's 87001, which is named Royal Scot. We're just gonna walk around the station hall for a little bit and then head over to the Great Hall, where most of what we're really looking for is, the first Class 87, along with some other things back here. I believe this is Queen Elizabeth's coach. Back there, Queen Mary's. Just walking around. Oh, what do we have here? This is one of the things I was looking for. Behind me is Stevenson's rocket. It was built to compete in the Rainhill trials for the Liverpool and Manchester Railway, and it won those trials, leading to it becoming the forerunner for all modern steam locomotives. It has been heavily modified since it was built, but this is the original rocket. Possibly the most important piece of the collection here in York. Certainly one of the oldest locomotives still in existence, if not the oldest locomotive still in existence. So I believe it is currently on loan from the Manchester Museum of Science and Industry, and it's quite wonderful to see it here today. Just an interesting little thing of note is now after 12 o'clock. I'm less than 24 hours away from my new scheduled departure time on JetBlue. And unlike yesterday, today JetBlue allowed me to check in on the app for my flight. I was puzzled why I wasn't able to check in yesterday, but it is likely that JetBlue had already determined that the flight was going to be canceled, and so just did not let me check in. Weren't letting anyone check in for that flight. But given that I have now checked in for my flight back to New York, I'm somewhat optimistic that this flight's going to go ahead. But again, I guess we really won't know until tomorrow, based on what's been going on so far. What are you doing here? I haven't seen one of these in 2 years, since the last time I was at the Railway Museum in Saitama. Zero Series Shinkansen, which was, I believe, gifted to the National Railway Museum by JR. It's interesting seeing two different types of high-speed train right next to each other, with the 1964 era Shinkansen, set Q2, car number 22141, and the 1990s era Eurostar Class 373 TMST. There's a lot of other stuff here in the Great Hall, and we'll go around it little by little. So now we're going to take a look at two streamlined steam locomotives that competed on the London to Scotland routes. This is the LMS entry, the Duchess of Hamilton, which operated trains between London Euston and Scotland via the West Coast Main Line. Over here, well, the Duchess of Hamilton is famous, but here's something a little bit more famous. Locomotive 4468 LNER Mallard, Class A4, and the world speed record holder for steam traction. On the 3rd of July, 1938, this locomotive attained a world speed record for steam traction of 126 miles per hour while running down Stoke Bank with a dynamometer car behind it. It may have been this one, it may have been a different dynamometer car, but this is what would have been behind Mallard on that historic run. The extra wheel here is what would calculate the train's speed and performance. This, of course, is an LMS third class brake coach. From the LMS streamlined trains, although in service these were blue and silver rather than red and gold. It is still good to see all this nonetheless. This was only recently removed from service just a few years ago. Power Car 43002, numbered as 253001 as it was numbered when it was delivered, with 43002 being the Power Car number and 253001 being the set number. This is the first HST Power Car. Upon the 40th anniversary of the HST, it was repainted back into its original Intercity 125 BR blue-ish livery and named Sir Kenneth Grange after the designer of the iconic Intercity Express train. We've been on a few HSTs so far, but this is the one that started it all. This here is a replica of Rocket, so this is what it would have looked like when it was built and when it competed in the Rainhill trials. You can see it looks very different from the locomotive we saw earlier. This clearly has not been updated in quite some time. GNER hasn't existed in over a decade, possibly pushing 2 decades. And of course, the 91s are not the principal mode of power on the East Coast Main Line. The Class 801 and 800 Azumas are. Here's a look of all of the locomotives that were assigned the fast expresses between London and Edinburgh. I rode behind one of these on my first full day on the ground. This is another Class 55 Deltic. It's not Royal Highland Fusilier, but it's another one that is, I guess, probably permanently on display here in York. So we got to see one in operation, now one on display. So we rode on a 9F at Great Central a couple days ago. This is the last 9F, not just the last 9F, the last steam locomotive built for British Rail, and the last mainline steam locomotive built in Britain until Tornado. Evening Star, built in March of 1960, number 92220, painted in BR Line green from the beginning, and from the day it was built, assigned preservation at the National Railway Museum and in the National Collection. And the only 9F that was named, as these were primarily freight locos. Evening Star did end up hauling some London to Cardiff expresses and would regularly outperform the regularly assigned locomotives on the line. It was good to ride behind a 9F rather than just see this one on display. So we got one last ride behind the 68 between York and Scarborough. Now we are on a pretty long ride on a 158. from Scarborough to Hull. We've got about another hour on this, and already been going for a little while. From there, I'm gonna be at Hull for a little bit, and get on the next Hull train service. Take that only as far as Doncaster, because not far behind that Hull train service is a 91 set Intercity 225, 91 with Mark Forrest, which I think there's only one operating on the East Coast Main Line today. So that's the plan that will get me back to London about 7:30 p.m. or so. And then from there, it's, I don't know, I'll figure it out. Today is the day where there is no plans, where things are happening as they happen. It just, pieces get added on as I figure it out. So, just gonna sit back, listen to my audiobook, maybe film some more clips between here and Hull over the next hour, and then get off this 158. I do like 158s. They're not bad. If I'm gonna have to travel on a 2-coach unit for this long, this is probably what I'd want to travel on. Can't get a recording of it because of the kids on board, but what are you gonna do? Welcome to Hull, a station that clearly had a few more platforms than it does today. You can see by the train shed, some of the old platforms and tracks are now parking and a bus terminal. So we're waiting here until 1621, when that all the way back there will take us to Doncaster. At Doncaster, we will have a very short layover before heading back to London. After that, we'll figure it out. at King's Cross. There is the Intercity 225 Mark IV DVT behind me. And I still haven't figured out what I'm going to do yet. I could go to a pub and attempt to catch USA versus Canada, but any USA expat bar in London is going to be showing NFL because it's AFC and NFC championship games tonight. And other pubs will not be showing the USA game. So I could ride around on the underground a bit. But right now it's 7:45 because we got in about 10 minutes late. So just get out of the gate line at King's Cross and go from there. But whatever it is, I'm probably going to be just staying local around London. Not even like going on any other national rail. It's probably just going to be like underground and whatnot. Actually, I probably will go and ride the underground a little bit because I'm not planning on being on the underground at all tomorrow. Because, well, I'm coming straight here, over there at St. Pancras for Thameslink. First, let me get out of the gate line. Okay, so here's the plan. This 37 is not part of the plan, but it's a nice bonus. That, on the other hand, is part of the plan. So we're going to take that to Romford, Upminster to Upminster, then come back in on probably C2C as far as West Ham, then I guess Jubilee line to probably the Victoria. I'll figure it out. Do a bit of a loop though. But since I haven't been on one of these, might as well. Okay, there are no more Romford to Upminster trains, so I guess it'll be to Stratford. And then go from there, somehow. Maybe do some filming at Stratford? I don't know. When you're given a bonus day, you take advantage of it. I think I did. I knocked out 2 of the last TOCs that I haven't done yet with Grand Central and Hull trains. Now the only ones I have left are Lumo and Caledonian Sleeper. Lumo, since it's all standard class, long distance, I have less of a reason to do it. I would tend to take LNER. And Caledonian Sleeper is Caledonian Sleeper. That is going to be difficult. Got to go to the National Railway Museum, get a 91 set, get another 68 set. get some Crossrail tests at Stratford. And all in all, it's a good day. Good bonus day in London. And I guess in York and elsewhere. Plan for tomorrow is get up, COVID test, over to St. Pancras, over to Gatwick, flight home, and then go home from JFK. So tune in for the next and final, hopefully, please don't cancel my flight again, part of this series. Thank you so much for watching through all of this for the past month. Remember to like the video, smash that subscribe button, and ring the notification bell so you do not miss any of my content. Until next time, bye.